So I was sent a screener for the movie Walden, starring Emil Hirsch, and this is coming to select theaters November 10th, which is Judith Meyer's birthday for any of you horror nerds out there, and it will be coming to VOD on December the 12th. So now this is about a man who is a stenographer. The only reason I even know what that is because I actually do a stenographer's hair. I have for years, and that is a courtroom transcriber, the person who sits in there and types all that shorthand stuff and translates it later, which is actually what she does in my chair the whole time I'm doing her hair. She goes through her notes and checks every single little thing that she wrote down, and she does not say a single word to me the entire time she's in the salon. She works the entire time. I'm used to it. And she's like my longest client. I do her hair for over 3+ hours every time. Anyway, moving on from that. So he finds out that he has something wrong with him. And this leads him down a darker path. He is trying to break this world record of 360 words in 1 minute, which is a very small subplot of the film. But he's a very particular guy. He almost feels like he's on the spectrum. I mean, he definitely is in some one way or another. And his whole life is just stenography. Like, he doesn't really care about much else. He lives in this very small town. And these cases, after having listened to them for so long, start to get to him. So a little vigilante justice starts to come in the way of our stenographer. I don't know. I thought the film felt pretty silly. It was going for a real dark tone at times, but other times it almost felt like it was like a dark comedy or something, but I don't think that's exactly what it was going for. I really just couldn't get a read on the tone of the film is what I think I was having a problem with. And I found the performance by our lead here to be a little too much, a little too silly. I think he's a good actor, and I've definitely seen him give good performances. Autopsy of Jane Doe and other movies, Into the Wild, of course. He's a good actor. But there was some, I don't even think it's his performance exactly. This film just had a low budget, made for TV quality to it. And I did roll my eyes a bit at times. I found the film to feel fairly cheesy, and it's dealing with some pretty dark subject matter. Like, we're dealing with like a crackhead who does something horrendously awful to a kid. Now, you don't see really anything in the film. It's not a gruesome or grotesque film, definitely more on the thriller side of things, with this air of cheesiness to it. There is like the town simpleton, who is played by an actor who I think is actually mentally challenged. um, he does really well. I really actually liked his character and really bought into his performance. As far as our cops go, I recognize both of them. The one chick is from Texas Chainsaw 3D, as well as Waiting, which is, a must see for anyone who's ever waited tables. Um, and the main detective, I'm having a hard time placing. I will say though that the judge is played by the dad in Firestarter, the original '82 Drew Barrymore Firestarter, who was married to Heather Locklear in the movie. In the movie, not in real life. But I don't know. I wanted to like this one. I wanted to get what it was going for. But I don't think it's terrible, but I didn't particularly like it that much. As I said, I think it's just this goofy tone. And that was what was so off-putting to me. I didn't know if I was supposed to be taking it seriously or not. It had a quirkiness to it that I didn't know if was intentional. And it's not because like I couldn't read it exactly. It's because I just could never really get in the right headspace for the film while watching it. As far as the story goes, it's all pretty convenient and contrived, right? Like, there's definitely events that play out in ways that you're like, that feels forced. That feels like not realistic in the slightest. And you can 100% guess what the twist is going to be if you're even mildly paying attention. So I thought that was pretty silly. There is one really cool shot towards the end dealing with some dead bodies that was pretty horror, like, and I did like that shot, but that's what makes up 5 seconds of the film at best. So yeah, and then the resolve in the end just kind of left me feeling like, I don't know, that the film didn't really have stakes in the end. Where I was like, oh, okay, so that's it, huh? Okay, whatever. And what they're setting up, it feels like there's going to be much more of a conclusion, much more of a climax to it, and it just kind of peters off and ends in like a very inglorious fashion. And I was like, oh, all right. So yeah, not something that I'm highly recommending. But if you really like Emil Hirsch, I got shit once for not knowing how to pronounce his name. I did look it up this time, so if you think I'm not pronouncing it right now, I don't know what to tell you. That's what YouTube told me. Blame Michael Rosenbaum as podcast. That's what I listened to get his name, his pronunciation this time. But yeah, so that's it. That's all I got to say. This review is under embargo until the 8th. And then the movie, as I said, Judith Meyer's birthday, which here, my wife's backpack to confirm 15-year-old Judith Meyer's gravestone. Yeah, so that's the easiest way to remember it. November 10th, select theaters. December 12th, VOD, if you're interested.